Sit, relax, relax. Don't get excited because it could get too warm in here. What are you trying to insinuate? That I wouldn't be wearing a sweater in 100 degrees in South Carolina on the 24th of June, and that maybe we recorded this interview in January when it was cold, and now I'm trying to sneak it past you and make it seem like it's all live when maybe it's not? My guest is a champion for emotional intelligence, understanding firsthand the importance of helping children navigate their feelings. Nicole Oke is the author of the best-selling Penny Panda book series that provides children and parents with lasting tools to talk about emotions. Nicole is here to offer valuable insights into fostering emotional literacy in children and share some behind-the-scenes stories from her delightful series. So if that sounds like a good show to you, now click like, click share, and let's start the show.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you about your books. You have 2 in the series, correct?
Correct.
And it's the Penny Panda series, which I love, Gift of Possibility and Emotion Ninjas.
Yes.
What brought you to write a children's book series?
It's kind of a funny story. I started about 4 years ago doing a lot of self-reflection and work on myself, my own emotional intelligence. I was kind of going through some things in my personal life, and I wanted to become more resilient and just build these skills. And the more I learned, the more I just kept kind of looking over at my 2 little girls and thinking, man, why am I in my late 30s, like figuring this out? Why didn't I learn some of these skills when I was younger? And I just kept seeing them and thinking, like, what can I do to help my girls grow up with these skills so they're not figuring it out, basically in the middle of their life. And so I went on Amazon. I started searching for books that would teach the kind of skills that I was looking for. And I just couldn't find them. I found books that were like, emotions are good. Everybody should accept their emotions, those sorts of things, which is really important. But I wanted like those next steps, like what are practical tools that they can start practicing to like build that skill. And when I couldn't find it, I decided to write it.
Made your own.
Yep.
Made your own. So tell everybody, let's kind of go through both of them. Did you know originally that it was going to be a series, or was your goal to just put out one and you were like, well, I need another one? And
yeah, my goal was to make a series because the first book is all about possibilities and focusing on kind of identifying like those automatic meanings that we assign to things and then looking for all the other possibilities, which is just one tool in emotional intelligence. And so the second book, The Emotion Ninjas, is another tool, which is kind of like personifying and viewing our emotions as something within us, but separate from us, and being able to work with them and kind of embracing the idea that we're the boss of our own emotions. And so that's another skill. So my goal is to continue the series, and each book introduces like a new skill or a new tool that kids can use. We'll see how many I'm able to end up producing, but that's the goal.
That's amazing. What age group would you say that the books are for?
Ideally, the best age group is probably 5 to 8. They're kids under 5. They enjoy the stories. The concepts are a little bit harder to grasp, and the book's a little bit longer to kind of for them to sit through the younger you get. And then above 8, my daughter, my oldest is 9. She still loves the books, but then it kind of is not quite up to their reading level anymore. Like they've kind of entered into those early chapter books by that point. Yeah. So 5 to 8 is the ideal range.
Okay. Where did Penny Panda come from?
It kind of came to me one day. I knew that I always wanted, like, I love the kind of rhyming, like the penny starts with a P, panda starts with a P. And I think one day I was just thinking through like what could be cool, and I was like, oh, what about like a penny for your thoughts? I kind of wanted to embrace that idea because Penny Panda comes to life, and she's all about like tell me your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. So I loved the name Penny, and then I was like, what rhymes? Like what would go with Penny? Not necessarily rhymes, but and for a long time I was kind of playing with like Penny the poodle, but I just didn't. I was like that doesn't. I don't know. It just didn't sit right. And then out of nowhere, I wasn't even thinking about the book, and it was like Penny Panda, and I was like, that kind of flows. I like it. I like the idea of, it's a stuffy. It's still kind of like a bear, and Penny Panda.
Are your kids like characters in the book or anything? Have you placed them in the book?
Yes, they are. So the main character Izzy is based off of my oldest daughter, and then in both books, my youngest daughter, Maddie, makes a cameo, but she's not one of the main characters. So Izzy's always the one that's kind of getting upset and working through her emotions. And Maddie's just kind of in the background. In the first book, she's part of why Izzy gets upset. But I think that's really common for siblings.
How do they feel about that, about being the characters in the book? Do they feel like little celebrities at school?
Yes and no. My oldest I've done school readings for both books at her school, and she is very interesting to watch. The first book, when I read it, she was in first grade. And so every time I read it to her class, she was like, okay, but this isn't true, guys. Like, this didn't actually happen. I didn't actually do this. And so it was kind of almost felt like the opposite of being, like a celebrity. Like she didn't want to be associated with it in a way. She's like, I didn't do those things. And I kept reminding her, I'm like, yep, it's fiction, honey. Like the character's based off of you, but it's all still fiction and made up. And then the second book, she was in the third grade when I read it to her class. And so she kind of was a little bit prouder then. She was like, yep, that's me. And, she's like, it's all made up, but it's based off of me. And she kind of liked the attention that she got from it.
She's signing autographs of the book at school now because she's so proud of it.
Right.
So cute. Are they also like excited and proud that like the book is from their mom, that there's a book out there that not every kid gets to say, hey, that book my mom wrote?
Yep. Izzy is definitely very proud of it. And she's very supportive too. And she will kind of like, she asks about my book sales. She asks how things are going. Like she's really super involved in it, which is fun. And then my youngest, she turned 4 in January. And so she doesn't quite grasp yet the concept that I wrote it. Like I tell her that, but she doesn't know what that means. And so when the book came in, the second book, I gave her a copy and I was like, this is your book. And then I would take other copies and try to like take one to her daycare or take one to a school. And she was like, no, mommy, that's my book. And I'm like, no, we're donating this copy. And she's like, no, mommy, that's my book. You said that was my book. So even though we had like 100 copies, right, sitting out, it's like, no, that's mine. And it's like, no,
all her books.
One copy is yours.
That's so cute. That's so cute. Did you self-publish or go through a publisher for these?
I self-published the first 2, and I've learned so much in the process. It's amazing what I didn't know. I am hoping I have a third one that I'm working on that's in the series that I will self-publish if I can't get representation. But I'm actually trying to go down the path of also seeking an agent and then potentially getting traditionally published.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you did learn while and through and probably after publishing the book?
I would say the biggest thing I learned was I had no idea what I didn't know. Like I went into it thinking, and I get this a lot now from other people. It's like, it's easy to write a children's book. And I learned very quickly, it's not easy to write a children's book. It's a whole different type of writing. I've done some other writing and, for like articles and things like that and for my job, but that's all geared towards adults and geared without having illustrations. So you're very descriptive and you're very, you fill in the blanks in that kind of writing. And when you write for children, you rely so much on the illustrations. It's like you need to be more concise. You need to cut it down. It's still something I struggle with. Like when I go through with my critique partners and with my editor, they're like, okay, we can tighten it. We can still tighten it. And I'm like, I know, I write like I talk, and it's really long sentences. So that was the first big surprise. And then my advice to anyone is just dive into that genre that you want to write in, because like I didn't know, my first book is about 1,200 words, and that's pretty long for a children's book. But my editor didn't specialize in children's books, and it was the first one I'd ever written. And I didn't find out until well after publishing that traditional children's books are about 600 to 800 words.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there was a lot of that kind of thing that I learned along the way. And I'm still very proud of my first book, and I love it, and the lesson is still invaluable. But I think, the second book's even better. And I'm hoping even the third book will get even better and just continue to improve as I go.
Well, and through this show, I've learned, especially with children's books, you're really writing for two different audiences. You're writing for the children. You have to keep them engaged, and you have to teach them something, and you want them to come back. But you're also writing for the person who's actually buying the book, because you want them to be attracted to it as well. So it's a really tight balance beam that you're walking on to make that successful.
Yes, it really is. And I think one thing I have going for me is I still have a young child. I have one that just kind of is coming out of that age range, and then one that's coming into it. And so I still read a lot of books in that age range. And I kind of pick up on, as a parent, like what I like and what I don't like, and what I don't want to read a million times over, because kids like to read them repetitively. So I try to keep that in mind when I write. And then each book has a lesson for the kid, but it also has a tool for the parents. So like in the first book, I introduced the possibility game, which kids can play to kind of think about all these different possibilities. But I also provide the parents with how to play the game. So then when they're interacting in their daily lives, they can start using that tool with their kids. And then the Emotion Ninjas, the tool there is for parents to kind of start being able to talk about emotions a little differently with their kids, and being able to ask, like, okay, I can tell that that something is affecting you right now. Like, which ninjas are here? Let's talk about who showed up and how they're here and why they're here, and kind of gives them another fun way to talk about emotions. So that's how I go about addressing the two different audiences, is I try to have a fun story for the kids that still teaches about emotional intelligence, but then provide a tool in addition for parents to be able to read it and then take it and implement it.
That's so smart. So smart. Can you talk about the book that maybe is the third in the series yet, or not?
Yeah, sure. It is a little more of a sensitive topic. So my day job, I work in wildland fire, and I help out as a training specialist, and then I also work in dispatch. And so the third book came to me while I was attending a class called You Will Not Stand Alone. And it's about how we help firefighters and their families when a firefighter's lost, like they lose their life fighting a wildland fire. And so I'm sitting in this classroom and listening to all these things, and I just keep thinking in the back of my mind, like, these kids, what can I do for these kids? How can I help these kids? And so the third book, it'll be kind of a special edition. So it'll be advertised a little bit differently, because it is about death and loss. And so it's not really your typical fun book. But in that book, Izzy's dad will be a wildland firefighter. And it's called Penny Panda and the Day Daddy Didn't Come Home. And so it's kind of, so it's kind of about, Izzy and her dad's relationship a little bit at the beginning, and then kind of comes into the day that they came to tell her that her dad died in a wildland fire accident. And then just kind of the tornado or hurricane of emotions that come along with hearing that kind of news. And the goal for me has been to not make it better, obviously, because we can't really make that situation any better, but to provide kids that are in that situation with a sense that they're not alone, that this can happen to other people, that all of the emotions that they're feeling are perfectly normal and acceptable, and also kind of give them ideas and tools of like who they can go to, who they can talk to, and provide a little bit of a, this will be hard, but you will
Yeah.
be okay. And you'll always remember them, they'll never be forgotten, sort of thing. So it's been a really good one to write. I think it'll be really impactful, but it's also been a very hard one to write. And I think it's going to be even harder when it comes out. And I'm at the point right now, I don't have illustrations yet. It's going through the editing process, and my illustrator, Rich Hoyt, he's just amazing. And I know when I get those, I'm probably going to bawl.
It's going to be a completely different level. Yeah. Do you know when that maybe might come out?
I'm hoping like end of 2025 or early 2026.
Okay, good. I hope you come back when that comes out.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay, good. What do you love most about your life right now?
Oh gosh. So it's this. If you'd asked me a week ago, it might have been a different answer. But a big part of my life and my oldest daughter's life is also being involved in Girl Scouts, and it's Girl Scout cookie season currently for us, and it's just been amazing to watch her grow over the past couple of years, and to watch her incorporate, because as a Girl Scout leader, a lot of what I believe in the books, those emotional intelligence skills, we teach our Girl Scouts that as well. And it's been really cool this last couple days to watch the transformation from last year, to see her confidence grow, and to see her attitude change, and just even her, cognitive processing of, being upset last year when people didn't want to buy cookies from her, and this year being like, well, that's okay, maybe the next person will buy cookies. And which, I mean, she's not playing it word by word, but that's part of the possibility game, right? Is looking at the other possibilities. So that's been really cool, and that's the last couple of days has been really fun and satisfying to see that happen.
I love that. What's the best way that people can connect with you?
Oh, the best way is probably you can go to my website. It's pretty easy. If you put in Nicole Oke in Google, I think it's such an uncommon name. I'm the only one that comes up. And then you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Nicole Oke Author. I'm also on Blue Sky now. I don't have a Twitter account currently, but and LinkedIn as well. So those are the easiest ways to find me.
Well, great. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for coming on, for writing these books. So important for kids to have. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you again for having me.
Of course. Come back. We'll see you at the end of the year for the third book.
All right. Sounds good.
Sounds good. We'll take a break and we'll be right back after this. Don't go away. Life is difficult. Are you feeling overwhelmed or like you could use a little support for your mental well-being? Visit the Help Hub. It's the most comprehensive and inclusive free online destination for mental health resources, helpful tools, crisis hotlines, and supportive content. Just go to thehelphub.co to find the resources you need when you need them most. Unlike other resource pages, the Help Hub is divided into 16 different categories, ensuring that everyone in every community has access to the resources and support that matches their unique needs. Find the help you're looking for at thehelphub.co. That's our show, everyone. I'm going to go put a tank top on now because it's hot. We didn't fool anybody. Okay, so this summer, all of our episodes are pre-recorded, but they're all new. And this is new. They're not reruns. They're just not live. But I love you. Go make your day richer. Go make somebody else's day richer. You've made mine by watching the show, and I love you for it. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye.